Hello, this is the Vitruvian Club. Before you watch this video, I recommend you watch the companion video titled East of Eden Part 2, as this video is an analysis of the lyrics of the song in that video, so it's going to make a whole lot more sense if you watch that one first. In addition to that, because this is a two-part song, I recommend that you actually watch the first song titled East of Eden Part 1 and the respective vlog for that one, so all of this will make sense and cohesion. And not as important is to check out the previous songs released on this channel, which are the previous songs in this whole album, which these two songs are the end of. These songs being My Valentine, My Valentine, Anima Mundi, Ballad of Silicon Valley, Zeitgeist and the Antichrist, Under the Moon, and then See No Evil. And now our last two songs, East of Eden Part 1 and Part 2. Without further ado, let's get into the song. So, yes, East of Eden Part 2. East of Eden Part 1 was about damnation, and East of Eden Part 2 is about salvation. And that's why I chose the Bible for this. Because, well, that's what it's about, right? It's about being thrust into this world after committing original sin and then being saved from that. And you are saved from that through, hardship. That's how you find that salvation. That's what this song is about. But let's get into the lyrics before we go deeper into that. And the lyrics will allow us to go deeper into that. We start out with, I hate you because you hate me. That's a false dichotomy. And this is, the Hammurabian eye for an eye. It's a rejection of that moral framework, which is important for Christian morality. And you turn the other cheek, right? And I think that is very important, especially in the modern world where we run the risk of destroying ourselves if we don't put an emphasis on reconciliation as opposed to conflict. And I've talked about this in my previous songs. Yearning for milk and honey, read that in Deuteronomy. Well, yes, I did read that in Deuteronomy. And milk and honey being, this land of prosperity, that's what we're all trying to get to, what we all want. And I talked about this in East of Eden Part 1, how we're trying to build this utopia for us. And I allude to this in the next line. Take my hand, don't be scared, we will rebuild the world, come hell or high water. So this is, we're trying to build something here. We're trying to have some sort of unity and to... Ooh, hold on, there's a butterfly here. Hey, little guy. Well, that's very pretty. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. Yes, so we're attempting to come together to rebuild the paradise that we were rejected from because of our disobedience. Which is like, well, let's see if we can do that, right? Now we have the first chorus, which is, here we are, East of Eden, kick me down while I'm bleeding. So this is, I'm in a tunnel. This is the stark reality that we live in this horrible world, East of Eden, in that when you're at your worst, the world will only try to consume you and destroy you. But from this, will rise again, veins burst with bulging passion. And this is a reference to the Passion of Christ. and Christ being murdered and tortured, but overcoming that and ascending to the highest level of good, to ascending to the right hand of the Father, overcoming all adversity, overcoming death itself, to find pure bliss and pure love. And the veins are bursting, as in, I picture the crown of thorns, blood dripping down the face of Christ, and blood dripping from the spear wound in his side, and blood dripping from his hands, just blood and suffering. But it's that same blood that we consume in the communion, which provides revitalization to all of us, or to those who partake in communion. But this is really significant, and of course I'm not a theologian, so I'll talk about it briefly and perhaps incompletely. But it is this sacrifice and this suffering that can blossom redemption and goodness. But something must be sacrificed, and something must suffer for this new world to come about. And it must be through that way. It must be through suffering. And if it's not, well, then you should be skeptical as to where that path is leading you. And that's something that throughout this project I've come to the realization of. And that's why, I started this project as, I guess, an agnostic, and now I am a Christian. Not in the same way as I was in my youth, but in a way in which I have learned the truth of the matter through the way of Christ, in a way, which is very interesting, to say the least. But unbridled radiance, reclaim that which has been. So this is, at the end of time, this unbridled radiance of, the essence of God will come over creation and be with it all. Like good, because good will prevail in the end, despite all of the horribleness. And well, that's a comforting way to think, if anything. And perhaps it's necessary to think that way. And if you don't, perhaps you're lying to yourself. I don't know about that, but maybe. All right. Verse 2. In vain you try and get your fill, but the more you grow, the more you spill your guts on the floor. You're thrown off balance by indigestion. So this is this illusion, or rather this natural drive we have to conquer and consume, to show that we are better, we are greatness. But the more you do this, the more you grow, the more you become volatile. You either become the target of others' attacks, or you degrade from within, and you spill your guts on the floor. So eventually you will self-destruct from your selfishness and your pride. And you were thrown off balance by this indigestion, this uncomfortableness with this material pursuit, which, well, maybe not everyone experiences that, but I think most people at some point are able to sit back and wonder, well, hey, what's the point of doing all of this, of getting all this money, of being better than everyone? It doesn't seem fulfilling. And that's definitely something that I've experience and I hear other people talking about, but we often just go on with it. Maybe that's not good, and we will continue to be thrown off balance and spew our guts on the floor if we continue this process of unhealthy eating, almost, in a way. In the next line we have, the profane stands on brittle stilts, but it tumbles down to the slash of the hilt of my sword, sharpened on the grindstones of warm caresses. So this being the profane, got this from he's like a religious historian. He has his work called The Sacred and the Profane, the sacred being, the things of God, and the profane being kind of like material things, to put it succinctly and not fully. Aladier, I believe his name was, I think he's Hungarian. Nonetheless. So this is the profane that we often put on a pedestal. It stands on brittle stilts, and it tumbles down at the slash of the hilt of my sword, in that this thing that appears to have so much value is on shaky foundation, and it tumbles down at the slash of the hilt of my sword, which is sharpened on the grindstone of warm caresses. So I think of, the love of Christ is so powerful, and the love of God is so powerful that it can conquer anything, and that it makes everything paltry in comparison. And well, this is something that I've experienced, and I think it is something that you have to experience to understand. The soul train tumbles at full tilt. We can catch a ticket if we can kill the strength of the cords of the puppeteer groping at worldly possessions. So we can join the soul train. I picture this as this spiritual progression, the spiritual movement. We can participate in that if we diminish the strength of the cords of the puppeteer that's controlling us. That isn't really us, but it's controlling us to make us desire this vapid materiality and this vapid profanity, to gorge ourselves so we spill our guts. To gorge ourselves so much on materiality that we spill our guts and we're ill from it. So we wish to find a way in which to have this soulful movement, so that we're not bogged down by these things. So we'll do the bridge next. The golden shroud cloaks the beaten down folk. It shines through a layer of mud. And this is, again, those who suffer the greatest, perhaps are the closest to God. They are the ones who can really see through the veil. When you abandon all hope, that's when maybe hope finds you. But I think that, especially in the modern world, it's difficult to surrender, almost, because we're told we can do so much, and we are able to do so much, but perhaps the relevancy of the things that we can do is suspect to the surrender that we ought to embrace to some extent. You go and shroud close to beat. And then golden shroud close to beat and down, folk, shines through a layer of mud. I slow it down because it's a mouthful. There are no words that can capture us. And this is that, the wordless state of, of a spiritual experience, in that you have nothing to protect you, like no words to hide behind. It's just unbridled experience in which you have to submit. The intellect is not going to protect you in this experience. What do we have next? Oh, 1 second. Hello.
Hi.
In the stratosphere, they cannot hear your sorrow. I finally remembered. In the stratosphere, they cannot hear your sorrow as you kill yourself. That's a slow death, but you know that. You'll feed the soil with your ignorance. So what this means, I think, is this, it is a slow death to stay here and to stay here in this, in these material cycles of suffering. So much so that those in the stratosphere, those higher up, are unable to hear your cries because they can't even see you. They can't sense you at all because you're so busy, absorbed in yourself, really. And this is a slow death. But you know that. You'll feed the soil with your ignorance. So there, it's like, how can you know something but be ignorant? Well, I would say that deep down we all recognize these things, and you see it in, in the actions and the comments of people. Even the people that you think are the most vain, there are glimpses of this longing for something more, at least in my experience. And you'll feed the soil with your ignorance. Is that if you don't ascend, you are just going to cycle back through this world, and you're not going to be any greater than a bunch of dirt. And then we have the outro. For us, with unbridled radiance, reclaim that which has been and always will be, now until the end of all eternity. And that's kind of just adding on to that last statement of the chorus. Anima Christi. This is in parallel, or contrast rather, to our second song, Anima Mundi, which I think when you identify wholly with the Anima Mundi or the world, you experience an incompleteness, and that song is very much about this incompleteness. And now we have the Anima Mundi, the spirit the Anima Christi, the spirit of Christ, which ascends you beyond the world, this cyclical suffering in which you are now fully loved despite all. And then I long to be home, right? In that once you, even before you experience the soul of Christ, so to speak, you are nonetheless full of that yearning, like I said, and in the soul of the world, there still exists a yearning for something, and you are never satisfied with that. One being because, we can't return to living in the forest unless we want to forego everything we've built, which would destroy a lot of people. But we're also dissatisfied with the world in which we've created. So we must carry on, and we must carry on in a direction, that direction being the way of Christ, who is very, very, he is, God as man. He is the ultimate thing, the ultimate being to sympathize with. That if God himself can suffer then and make it out the other end, then we will too. And then we will be home. And that's that was the process of this album. It was a process of yearning and longing, and I didn't know where I was going, but I went down many different paths, as I'm doing right now. I think I'm a little lost in this forest right now, but I'll find my way out. Don't worry. But yeah, we all yearn for something, and we all go down many different paths, and I'm sure I went down some of the same paths that some people go down, and some rather different ones, I would wager. But nonetheless, that led me to one that makes the most sense for me. And I am happiest here. And now, let's see what happens. Alright, that's it for this album. It'll hopefully be... I'm tentatively going to be recording it this Friday, as of when this is recorded, not necessarily posted. So hopefully that goes well, and the album will be out on streaming soon after that. I still need to create the album cover, which actually met someone today in the woods who who said they would help me. How about that? But I digress. Yes, and then hopefully we'll have a nice little listening party where if you've watched this whole thing, well, then you better be coming to it. All right, well, thanks for coming on this journey, and there will be more soon. I have actually a whole album's worth of new material that's longer than this one, already written in the vocal and acoustic sense, but I would like to add more music to it and bring more people into the Vitruvian Club. And this was just the beginning, hopefully, of... Well, no, it is just the beginning of something greater. I think. No, I don't even think. It will come to be. I have to will it in order for it to come to be. So yes, stay tuned. There'll be a lot more coming your way. Goodbye for now, and God bless.